We are born into a sea of stimulation, aggravation, and information that perpetuates the cycles of thought, that has us thinking we're somebody doing something. It has us thinking we're in control. All suffering assumes control. Has us thinking we know. It has us attached to all these things, so we are trapped in an illusion of chaos, fear, and confusion. All this is part of a grand program. We are caught in the Truman Show. We are caught in this programmed play. Everyone around us are actors because they're just living a program. They think there's somebody doing something. They're identifying with the actor. So the Truman Show is such a profound movie because it is showing us we are surrounded in a specifically curated society surrounded by actors. We're surrounded by people who think there's somebody doing something, who think they're in control, who think they know. We're surrounded by this because everyone is caught in the thinking mind because of the sea of stimulation, aggravation, and information, and the chaos, fear, and confusion specifically exists to suppress us. We are living in a specifically curated society, which I call the prison society, which is run by the controllers, the beings at the top of it all, right? But really they're just nature running off as well, as are we. So really when we keep stepping back, there ain't nothing to do but to do nothing, right? That's a little bit later. How do we break free from the Truman Show? So we're in this sort of prison society specifically designed to suppress us. We are programmed to eat ourselves to death. They have created a self-limiting society with the toxic food program and the prison society all working together. Everything around us is specifically curated to suppress us. Stimulation and then suppression, right? This keeps us all out of balance. The more stimulation we take in. And what's interesting is the farther we go on the path of presence and purification, the only path there is the two highest devotions to our cosmic beloved. Because presence is surrender and allows the divine to flow through us. Presence and purification correct all imbalances. Right? So the Truman Show is such a profound movie that many of us may have missed the first time we saw it, depending where we're at. And the more we revisit it, not that I'm going to watch it again, I've seen it plenty of times, but we just remember, we know what it's about. So how do we break free from this trap, this prison society, the toxic food program? Presence and purification. We start to take in this new conditioning, because remember, we're not doing anything. We just think we're somebody doing something. We're merely nature running off, chemistry and conditioning. We can only ever act based on our chemistry and conditioning. So we don't need to be stuck in shame and regret and guilt and sin. All these things assume control. There is no control. Control only exists in the thinking mind. When we stop thinking, what happens? When we stop thinking long enough, we become the observer. And we observe our nature running off. And we observe everyone else's nature running off. And we realize there is no control. This frees us from the illusion, from the whole trap. But to do this, to stay in this present surrendered state, what do we need to do? We need to remove all the aggravators, the stimulation, aggravation, information. We have to stop taking in the aggravators, which means, and when we realize is the more we progress on this balance of presence and purification, the more sensitive we are to these stimulations, and to keep facilitating a state of peace, which is necessary to stay in the surrendered present state where the divine flows through us, the non-thinking state, the oneness. Because when we think, we create separation because we're caught in the illusion. We think we're somebody doing something. To keep this facilitated state of peace going, and our balance is constantly needing to evolve because we are purifying the body and we are staying more present, we have to remove more and more stimulation. This is how this helps us break free from this Truman Show, from the illusion. I'm trying to combine too many words. staying present. That's all we have to do. All there is to do nothing. Stop thinking. And then this evolves our consciousness, and when our conditioning takes in purification and keeps increasing purification, this increases our vibration in our consciousness and our connection to the divine. And it makes us realize that all we need to do is to stay present or surrender, to stop thinking, to stop identifying with our somebodyness or the actor. We're cutting off the identity. We're detaching from the identification with our somebodyness and just observing. This allows our higher self or the divine to work through us. This is how we free ourselves, and this is how we free the world. If we want to free the world and stop all these wars and these oppressive governments and things like this, remember, I'm talking on many different levels. We have to free ourselves, which is all there is to do. Because if we were a completely free people, we would never allow these controlling systems to control us. We would not allow it. The only reason our beings would not allow it, our chemistry and our conditioning, our nature would not allow it, right? Because we're all just nature running off. The only thing there is to do is to come back to the realization that we're nature running off. You ain't doing nothing. As long as we think we're doing something or we're trying to do something, we're trapped in the illusion. We're caught in an attachment. Because we think we're somebody doing something. And we think we're in control. And all suffering assumes control, right? When we stop thinking, we're no longer identifying with our ego or somebodyness or the actor, like all these actors surrounding us in the Truman Show. We're no longer identifying with the actor because we are staying present. So we just observing our nature running off. And this raises our consciousness and our vibration. This frees us. And every second we stay present, we're dissolving the bloated ego, right? And we're allowing the divine to come through us. And this is how we gain deeper understandings. The more we're present and the more we purify the body, calm the mind, the more we surrender, the more we're emptying and reconstituting our mind, right? Because we have to stop taking information to a degree until maybe our conditioning or we're at a certain point where we need to take in a little bit more that can be helpful. Not all information is obviously negative, but we shouldn't force it, right? Because we're not really doing anything anyway, because that means we think we're attached to it. We just let it happen naturally. Just observe yourself taking in certain information, right? And when we reach a certain point, like I did, where it naturally came to me, like, I can't watch any videos, I can't listen to any podcasts, I'm done. I need to just cut it all off. It was just a natural progression in my journey of presence and purification and devotion to our cosmic beloved. I stopped taking information, I focused on presence. I gained so much deeper understanding because you create space when you do that. When you empty the mind, you're creating space and allowing the divine to come in and say hello. We got to create that space. We got to stop bombarding ourselves with information. We have to create a state of peace. That doesn't mean that it's always going to be this way. There could be periods. Well, it depends where we're at, right? The more we realize we don't need to seek other information, and even if we're seeking information, we're really not doing anything anyway because we're just observing, right? We just observe this vessel doing what it's doing. That's all there is to do. This is how we free ourselves. This is how we free the world. Presence and purification will free ourselves, and in turn will free the world. And all of you here with me right now on this beautiful journey of awakening, we are doing that together. And we are so powerful. We are so powerful. The controllers don't want us to know how powerful we become when we stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. They don't want us to know there's a center of the circle. They don't want us to know we can stop thinking and end all of our problems. Thinking is the cause of all suffering, right? The controllers don't want us to know of this freedom, of the fact that they're suppressing us. It's all distractions, right? And stimulation and chaos and fear. They don't want us to know how powerful we really are. If we were truly free and connected to the divine, we are unlimited. We would not allow such ego level treachery is a good way to put it, right? Because really we're not doing anything anyway. And the more we keep stepping back, a lot of what I just talked about, I have to talk about on many different levels, because many people watching need to come at it from a little bit at each different level to put the picture together, right? That's just how it has to be, right? We would not allow such things if we were truly free. We would be totally free. We would be at peace. We'd be one love, right? The whole planet would be a utopia. We would not allow such travesties, right? So it's all about stop thinking and end all of our problems. There's nothing to do but to do nothing. We gain these deeper understandings through emptying the mind, right? Facilitating a state of peace, emptying the mind, or reconstituting the mind, purifying the body, right? Giving it all up, constantly giving it all up and removing the stimulations. This will free us from the Truman Show, from the illusion, because we have to cut our attachments. While we're stuck in the cycles of thought, we're going to be attached to these things, the illusion. We're going to think we're in control, which causes all suffering. We're always going to be suffering when we think we're somebody doing something and we think we're in control. To reach our highest states, we have to give it all up to the divine. I stuttered a little bit. Sorry about that. It happens, right? I ain't doing nothing. This is just my being trying to get it out, right? I'm not doing nothing. I'm doing nothing making these videos. I am nobody doing nothing. This is just merely this vessel's nature running off, and we're here together, and I'm here to tell myself, remind myself, these videos are reminders to myself and to remind you, my beautiful brothers and sisters on the journey, what you already know. Everything I'm telling you, you already know, right? Ram Dass says this. You're all shaking your heads like, yeah. You already know. I'm just simply here to remind you, because I know I need to be constantly reminded, because the illusion is very powerful and is going to constantly suck you back in with the stimulation, aggravation, information, chaos, fear, and confusion, right? And it's going to constantly keep us zinging us. So I'm here zinging you back to presence and purification, freeing yourself completely from the illusion, from the Truman Show, from the Matrix. So we can then free the world, free the universe, right? And become one with our cosmic beloved. Imagine how wonderful this world. This is how powerful we are. They have to use every conceivable method to suppress us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, filling the air, the water, the food with toxins, the lighting, the building materials, the clothes, the receipt paper, the cups, everything is just loaded with toxins to suppress us, because they realize how powerful even one of us would be if we become free. Is magnificent. The power is unimaginable how powerful we would be. And there's been many beings that have showed us this. Imagine if there was multiple truly free beings existing on this planet at the same time. That's when you basically encompass the world in love and light and peace, right? That could be part of the ascension of humanity. And that seems to be very likely happening at this moment, as you have so many beings being so powerfully awakened at such high levels that we are going to thrust this world out of the program, out of the illusion, and into the eternal present moment of God's love. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. Namaste.